I was curious about how you begin the planning process with teaching artists or an arts organization that you do in-person creative aging classes with at Commonbond.
Well, the first thing to note is that I would already have done the planning with the site coordinator and the potential participants at a site to find out what they're interested in. And when we start a new site, we do a focus group and go through a whole process of learning what they're interested in. And I kind of rank those in terms of order of preference, and try to plan out a year's worth of classes based on that form. And then the second year, we'll do a survey and or maybe another focus group. So we're always asking them, so now what are you interested in learning? And here are some possibilities if we've got new teaching artists, because people don't always know what they want to learn if they don't know what the possibilities are. So once I know what a site is interested in and I have a sense of their personality and the kind of teaching artist they might respond to, I connect directly with a teaching artist or an arts organization. We have a couple of partners that we work with related to music and clay work. And I tell them about the site and say, we're interested in this kind of a class. When it's an independent contractor teaching artist, I know who teaches what. And we start having a conversation about what that class could be. Sometimes if it's the very first class, I say I want an intro to watercolor class, and if I've already worked with a teaching artist, I understand what that looks like. But then I ask for a proposal from them, and they create a proposal that includes their week-by-week curriculum. And sometimes that's really detailed and sometimes it's not. If I've worked with them before, I don't need a lot of detail because I've seen them in action. And so they create a lesson plan and we have some conversation about that. It's either great, let's go for it, and I create a contract, or we do some modifications as we talk about that. And I'm always sharing, this is the kind of group I think we're likely to get. Although we offer it in the building, and so we might get new people, which we're always excited about doing, expanding the number of people who provide it. Then we put it together, and I ask the teaching artists whether they want to do the promotional flyer or whether I'm going to do it, and then they give me the information, and we go from there. Once I know who the teaching artist is going to be in the class, then I introduce them via email to our site coordinator, and we kind of form a little team around this and discuss logistics and make sure they have contact information, and we're all prepared for what the site needs to provide in terms of logistics support. And once I get the registration numbers, then I let the teaching artists know and they can purchase supplies and we go from there. Our teaching artists purchase the supplies and bring them based on a budget that they've submitted to me. And so they are a self-contained unit and expect to manage the class themselves, but always having the backup support of the site coordinator if they run into any issues or something comes up, and they always can talk with me. So that's the process that we use. And it's usually, I would say it's 3 to 4 months in advance because our teaching artists get booked up. And so I'm also move to a year in advance so that I've got people on the calendar and I know, each quarter that we're going to offer a class, kind of who's programmed. So we have all our ducks in a row and I can get on my popular teaching artist schedule.